Hello again everyone, welcome back to the training room. In this video we're going to go over how to install or take off the dummy O-gauge coupler on the front of a Visionline big boy. This is, specifically this big boy is number 4019 from Lionel's 2023 Big Book catalog. I believe the older big boys are very similar, but definitely check what it's like for those. Again, I believe the process is similar. The reason I want to make a video on how to do this is because it is a bit of a process in taking this this coupler out and putting in the dummy one. You have to do a bit of disassembly for the front kind of pilot of the engine. So I'm gonna go through all that, what types of screwdriver and stuff you need to do that, because there are some specific ones. I definitely recommend watching this whole video before you try and do it, because like I said, it does require a bit of disassembly, and it's good to know what to expect before you try and do it, because I could not find a video anywhere on how to do this, so I thought it might be helpful for you guys if you had one to watch. Alright, I've just taken off the elephant ear on the far side of the engine so that when I put it over on its side, don't risk damaging it or anything. I don't have like a engine cradle or anything, so I've just put some carpet padding down over here just to rest the engine on, and I've found that works good enough for now. As you can see, I currently have the dummy coupler installed in the front, so it's the same process for whether you're putting it, you're taking on or off the regular one. You do have to take off the cow catcher part when you put in the dummy O-gauge coupler. But so now let's get into actually pulling this all apart. Okay, I've gotten the engine over on its side, and the actual screw to take out is right underneath the engine right here. And it's super funny because if this bar across here had been just a little bit further back, it would be really easy to get in there and just simply unscrew that screw and that'd be it. But because this bar is a little bit too much in the way, you can't get a screwdriver in there to unscrew without stripping the screw out. So you have to basically disassemble the whole pilot of the engine. So I know if you ever see this, you might want to try and move this bar back just a little bit or leave a little piece cut out so we can get in there to the screw. The first thing we've got to do is take out this screw right here, and there's another one, these two screws right there and there. So for that, just gonna grab first screwdriver, take those out, there's one, lays down here, so definitely try and keep your screws in order, and get our second one out here. There's our second one. Okay. Now I'm gonna flip the engine back up so you can kind of see what's going on here. So we've now taken off this top part. There are wires here, so be very careful when you set this down. It's gonna have it propped there so the wires don't get pulled taut. I'm going to pick up the camera here for a little bit. The next screws we have to take out are these two. Grab my screwdriver. These two screws here and here. As you might be able to tell with this screw, I almost stripped this one out trying to get it out because it was in super tight. And I found out, my dad figured this out, it is best to use, see this is the focus, this screw bit. I do not know exactly how the names, so let's see if this will focus. Come on. for screw bits work, but this one is CR-V PH1. It has a flatter end on it instead of a point, and that, for some reason for this screw, that worked a lot better. So we have a whole screwdriver set with all sorts of these ones. So just try and find a very small Phillips head screwdriver, kind of with a flat head, and that should help you get these out. And I recommend when you put these back in to not tighten them all the way, so it's easier on yourself later when you go to take them out. Okay, those two are now out. Finally, we remove the whole front part, and you can see these metal grates stay down here. And now, last but not least, this is the screw that we have to take out the coupler. So this makes it a little bit simpler to actually get out, because now you can just take this off the engine. So unscrew, sorry, you see this, our last screw here, pull it out. So you see the dummy coupler just dropped out. And definitely make sure you put the coupler in the right way, because if you put it in facing this way, it's not going to couple to anything. If you put it in facing this way, it will. So just kind of check with another engine the right way to put the coupler in. So now to put these back in, this is how the engine initially comes with this installed. This has the coupler, the scale coupler, in the back of it. So I'm going to try and get that into here, coming through the front. Put that cow catcher piece in, and then put our coupler in. I just gotta make sure it's in the right way. And then take this is the long screw. Sorry, you can't see that, but we're putting that through the bottom, through the hole in both. I guess you don't have to put the scale coupler back in if you don't want to. You can just put the piece of the cow catcher in. There we go. You can just put the piece of the cow catcher in and just have the scale coupler left out if you're never gonna twist it around. But so screw that back in. Remember, not too tight. So just to check our work here, have it shut like that. Then we can swing the coupler out like this, and should be facing the right way. You can just look on the back of another engine that would couple up. So that's the right way. Now we do the same steps we did in reverse order. So we got to put in these first screws. Remember, this is the one that had the weird bit. Helpful to have the magnetic screws, makes it a lot easier. All these little bolts, or sorry, the magnetic screwdrivers. So not super tight, doesn't need to be on there super tight. It's not like you're gonna be dropping this thing or anything. So just kind of tight enough that, you know, it's not very loose. It's good enough. I'm gonna set this top part, make sure these wires stay the other way, back in place. Get these wires back there, just to make sure you're not pinching any wires in anywhere. Turn the engine back over on its side, and finally put these screws back in. If you have the magnetic screwdrivers, it makes this a lot easier. Does it work with this bit? This also works actually with that flat bit, these screws here. So we're gonna use that. Again, doesn't have to be super tight. Just tight enough that it's not going to move anywhere. And I've pushed the screw somewhere. I don't know where it went. Oh, it was already stuck to the bottom of the screwdriver. Get our last one. Okay, things on there nice and tight. This guy back on the rails. And we should have a scale coupler back in place. So make sure everything's nice and tight in there. No wires getting pinched. definitely test everything to make sure. But yes, we can turn the scale coupler out just like that. And again, if you don't want to have the engine, just get the scale coupler out like that. Sorry, this isn't focusing very well. You don't have to put it back in. Could just leave it like that. And then when you put the dummy O-gauge coupler in, if you're doing this the other way, to put the dummy O-gauge coupler in, again, just make sure you have it going in the right direction. This is the right way, so there'll be a little bit more space. Just focus on the top than the bottom. But again, just look like with the back of another engine. See, oh, this has to go in that way, so screw down like that. Yeah, so definitely helpful to keep this handy. So if you want to double head your big boy with any other engine, at least for the big boy, this is the process you have to go through. I believe for other engines, it is a bit more simple. It is basically just having to take that screw out, take out the dummy or the scale coupler and put in the dummy O-gauge coupler. But for the big boys, Lionel made it a little bit more of a process to do that. So now my engine's back to having the scale coupler. I definitely would recommend not doing this a ton because, you have to flip the engine over, put it on its side, all that stuff. The less you can do it, the better, but I wanted to run the engines double head. You might have seen that little short I did. I was having fun with that. So that is how you install the dummy O-gauge coupler on your Lionel Visionline big boy. All right, thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, when I was trying to do this, I couldn't really find any videos out there on how to do it, so hopefully this made your lives a little bit easier. As I said before, get this to focus, the bit I used was labeled CR-V PH1. The CR-V may be a brand name, I'm not sure, but PH1. And it basically is the same as a regular Phillips head, just has a bit of a flatter top to it. So easier to get some of those screws out. So like I said, have that. Now I would definitely try it. You can easily rewatch this video in other ways. And Lionel may have directions somewhere for this. I'm not entirely sure. I found out how to do this through, I believe it was a OGR forum. And then I also just started unscrewing things, hoping that eventually would lead to the right thing to take out. So again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, pieces of advice, please put it in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.